Prime Jose Aldo versus the current top 5 UFC bantamweights. Let's get it. Starting with Song Yadong, I actually favor Jose Aldo to be a guy like Song Yadong because, yes, Song is very fast, he's very explosive, he hits hard, but so is Jose Aldo. He's got all those attributes as well as better striking defense. I believe he would probably chop the legs down of Song Yadong, and I think he would definitely tag him a lot throughout the course of 5 rounds. I don't know if he finishes Song, though, and Jose Aldo does have a tendency to slow down in the later rounds, so it is possible that I see Jose Aldo winning, probably by later stoppage or by a decision. Next up, we have Cory Sandhagen. This is a very tricky fight to call because on paper, Jose Aldo does have a lot of advantages over Cory Sandhagen. Speed, power, he can absolutely chop the legs down, amazing takedown defense, so Cory will not be able to take him down. However, like I mentioned before, Aldo does have a tendency to slow down, and I think that Cory would make Aldo fight at a pace that he wouldn't be able to keep up with. And after round 2, I think that Cory would absolutely push a pace on him, but I do still think that Aldo would probably win this one by way of decision, but I think it'd be a very close fight for sure. Petr Yan, I do think that Petr Yan would still beat Jose Aldo even if he was in his prime because I think the version of Jose Aldo that we saw fight Petr Yan was a very good version of Aldo. The only thing that would change is that maybe his cardio might have been a little bit better. Maybe he wouldn't have gotten tagged as much in the fight. He might have been a little bit faster. It wasn't like a drastic difference between the prime Aldo versus the one we saw against Petr Yan. It was enough of one though to where I think this could be a bit of a closer fight. I mean, Jose Aldo was doing very well against Petr Yan in the early rounds, but it's going to be the same result in the end. Jose Aldo's going to end up gassing, and Petr Yan's going to end up getting a late finish regardless. Next up, we have Sean O'Malley. This is actually a very tough fight to call because Sean O'Malley definitely would have the distance management, the speed, and the footwork over someone like Jose Aldo. However, it is possible that Jose Aldo could just absolutely obliterate the legs off of Sean O'Malley, depending on what stance he chooses to take. Sean O'Malley would most likely take the southpaw stance, looking to throw 1-2s from a distance, lots of teep kicks to keep Jose Aldo off of him. However, the thing is with Sean O'Malley is he doesn't really tend to push a pace on people. He generally is the fighter that likes to be more on the back foot, so Aldo will be able to dictate the pace. And I think that Aldo would eventually start to land shots on someone like O'Malley, but here's the thing. I think if Sean O'Malley lands one big shot on Jose Aldo, I think it's game over. So I'd probably go with Sean O'Malley eventually catching Jose Aldo, kind of in a similar way to what Conor McGregor did. However, what I will say is, though, there is always that potential that Jose Aldo could also catch someone like Sean O'Malley, who I'm a little bit suspect of his durability, to be honest. Next up, we have Umar Nurmagomedov. I'm going to be honest, guys. I do think that Jose Aldo probably has an easier time fighting someone like Umar in comparison to some of these other fighters. And I understand that Umar is a very good wrestler, but Jose Aldo was the best anti-wrestler in UFC history. He's going to chop the legs down of someone like Umar. He's definitely going to box the head off someone like Umar too. Umar doesn't have like a long range or anything like that. I think that Aldo would definitely be able to catch it from a distance, and I think he'd absolutely be able to catch it with knees, similar to what Mario Batista did. And I think he would eventually get probably a TKO in the later rounds. Last up is Merab. I think it'd be the same thing as when they actually fought in real life. Over the course of 5 rounds, especially, Merab is definitely going to put a pace on Jose Aldo. Aldo's not going to be able to keep up. There is that possibility that Aldo can always catch Merab because I've always said that I'm a bit suspect of Merab's chin. If Aldo lands one left hook, it could potentially be game over. However, I cannot really predict on the chance that something might happen. I'd have to predict Merab Dvalishvili to win by way of decision.